Okay, so what I believe regarding the use of technology in the classroom. Um, I really don't like extremes with technology in the classroom, so I don't like the teachers who are so reluctant to change that they still work with a projector with markers and a transparency and project that onto the smart board behind them. Um, but I think that's laziness as a teacher. I think it's part of our job as teachers to make use of the resources that have been provided to us. So I think that if a school has made something available to you, it's part of your job to use it. So for one thing, I just think you have a responsibility to use it if it's been provided for you. But I also don't like people who just go crazy for technology and just think that it's the greatest thing ever, and they try to use it in every single lesson and every single activity and every single assignment for the kids. I just think that's a little much. So I think sometimes it gets to be too much, and technology doesn't always make our lives easier. Sometimes it makes it more difficult. So I don't like extremes with technology in the classroom. I think there's a middle ground that we need to find as teachers. But I do think that we have a responsibility to incorporate technology into our classes. What can I do with technology in the English class? This is kind of a strange question to try and answer in like a 1 minute time period because I mean the whole premise of the Action Research Project and the whole idea behind our digital humanities class is that there's the potential is endless for technology in the classroom. You can do so much. So to then be asked, what can you do with English in the classroom? I just want to be like, a lot. We spent a whole semester talking about it, but things that I've enjoyed doing. I mean, it's funny how technology is just you may not think of it as being something that's so integral to the humanities, but I know this was starting to get this way when I was in high school, and certainly I saw it at the high school where I student taught was anything that you turn in an English class, a writing assignment, it better be typed. Students are having to type everything that they turn in that's a piece of writing in English classes. So I think technology is just sort of inherently built into English in that way. So I think that there's a lot that you can do outside of like typing papers though, because that's just so ubiquitous now that it's just kind of lame that kids don't even see that as them interacting with technology. But I think again, there's a lot that can be done. Where I would like to head in terms of tech in English. Um, while I was observing student teaching, one thing that I learned as far as technology goes is that the people who are most reluctant aren't the kids, it's the adults. Because the kids are already there. These kids were born, my kids that I had at least, born in like 1996 or something, right? So they're, like we talked about in digital humanities, they're those digital natives. So it's not something that you have to get them on board with. So I think that the greatest obstacle to technology in the classroom is often the teacher. And I don't say that to degrade teachers or to put teachers down. But when you think about it, a lot of schools, and certainly the school that I was in, they've got pretty good resources. Almost every classroom had a smart board. We have computer labs that we have access to. There's computer carts that you can bring to your classroom. So it's certainly not as great as some of these fancy school systems that have like every kid has an iPad or whatever. But it's a pretty good spread. And so there's still teachers though that don't use those technologies that have been made available to them. And not only that, but they kind of disrespect teachers that do, because somewhere along the way there's been this connection with like young cool teachers and the use of technology. And so a lot of teachers just kind of write it off as something that people do straight out of college, and who do they think they are? And well, you can either be the friends with the kids, you can try to get the kids to like you, or you can teach them. Somehow there's been this like this binary setup with technology and who uses it. So you don't see a lot of like older teachers using it, or teachers who aren't fresh out of a university program where it's been really stressed like it is at Tech. And so I think that teachers who who do think that it's important to use technology in the classroom have the responsibility to also try and convince other faculty members of that and be an instrument of change within your department. Because I would like, I really want to be respected by my colleagues, and I want them to respect the work that I'm doing in the classroom. And so I think part of that is really trying to show them that technology can serve really clear learning objectives, that there's some real educational potential with technology, that it's not just something to like grab the kids' attention or get them to like you or be seen as a cool teacher. That may be an end product of it. I don't think necessarily so that it is. I just think that's a stereotype that's been placed on it. But I would like, as far as like where I want to go with technology and English, I'd like to see more teachers embracing technology in the classroom, and I'd like to be, like I said, just kind of an instrument of change within my own faculty department at my school to make that happen. So.